Welcome back, viewers. Day before yesterday, we have seen the installation of Opensuse, and we are planning to do a series of videos on Opensuse and the different desktops available in Opensuse. So we will start the review of the first desktop, that is the KDE Plasma desktop, that is the flagship desktop of Opensuse. And before we proceed with the review of KDE Plasma of OpenSUSE Leap 15.4, let us check out in short more about information about OpenSUSE Leap 15.4. So earlier, up to Leap 15.2, the development of SUSE Enterprise Linux and OpenSUSE was different. It was a totally different branches, but now they have adopted a hybrid approach. So Leap uses source from the SUSE Linux Enterprise, that is the SLE, which gives Leap a level of stability unmatched by any other Linux distributions and combines that with the community developments to give users, developers, and system admins the best Linux experience available. So what they have done is the hardened base of SUSE Linux Enterprise is used, and upon that you get the packages from the community branch or the community developments, and together it gives you a hybrid approach, ensuring much more stability, and it will be supported till I think the ALP will come, and maybe then there will be some changes. We don't know exactly, but what will happen, but the new ALP is coming, so that will be a new release for this OpenSUSE. So we have to wait and watch what will happen, because ALP has already been announced. So if you want to see, the ALP news will be there. I will just show you. So ALP is nothing but the adaptable Linux platform. So right now it is under discussion, feedback, and they are just started to work on this. So maybe tomorrow what will happen to the Tumbleweed branch, to the Leap branch, and what will happen to the SUSE Enterprise Linux, how they all will things will combine, or whether it will remain separate, and where this adaptable Linux platform will fit. Everything we have to wait and watch, and as the development goes on, surely we will know what in what direction the SUSE and OpenSUSE is going to take. So you have to keep a watch on this. Right now they have started using the micro OS desktop. Maybe they are planning to introduce the micro OS desktop for the ALP platform, or that is the adaptable Linux platform of OpenSUSE. So keep this under observation. I will also keep observation on this, and maybe in later videos we will check out the developments in the adaptable Linux platform of OpenSUSE. So now let us go to the virtual machine and check out the actual desktop of KDE Plasma. So personally, I have used OpenSUSE Leap for many, I think around 3 or 4 years I have used this. Plus I have used the Kubuntu also. So Kubuntu is also a good stable Linux distro from Ubuntu, and OpenSUSE is also very stable. I have used OpenSUSE on my tablet for many years. I did productivity work. I installed all the different applications like Telegram, Slack, and multimedia, also many applications of multimedia. I use as a entertainment center. I use it for my productivity. I was doing my sales work on the tablet, so it was quite fun, and the cheap tablet give us many productive hours in the day. I could work on that my tablet for even 7-8 hours also. I used to always keep it plugged in, and never did the OpenSUSE failed me. Every time whenever I restarted, it rebooted, everything was done. It updated also, but never there was any issue with either the updation, any package management issues. Now when the OpenSUSE 15.3 was introduced, there was some issues because they introduced this SUSE Enterprise Linux repositories also, and there used to be some conflicts between the packages from the different repositories. But now in 15.4 that has been sorted out, and it is quite stable now. So again we can start using the OpenSUSE Leap 15.4, and now let us log in to the OpenSUSE desktop. So friends, based on my experience, I have used almost more than 50 distros all major distros I have used, all major distro flavors I have used. They are totaling around 50. I found OpenSUSE lib to be very stable. I can tell you it is one of the best, and the KDE desktop is the best of the best. This is the best implementation of KDE desktop in any Linux distro. I can vouch for this. Second and third KDE desktop that are good. Other than this OpenSUSE is the Debian KDE. It is also fantastic, and the Kubuntu is also very fantastic. So you can choose between these three when you want to go for the KDE desktop as your desktop. Now this is the welcome screen of KDE desktop. I will just shift it here. I want a vertical stack of icons. Okay, so welcome screen is there. Here you can see the version of the OpenSUSE lib, that is 15.4. It is a 64-bit installation, and it is using the KDE desktop. Now there are some readmes are there, so the extra software, restricted codecs and all those things are not available. So for that the guidelines are given here how to install, and for the open non-free codecs for playing the media, you have to read it here, but I will show you how to install the non-free codecs. And there is some guidelines on the community repository, so you can read it here. Then I will switch this off, or okay, I will just go back to the home. Now the documentation is there, so when you click on the documentation, it will open it in the Mozilla Firefox, and you can read the OpenSUSE wikis. So I can tell you OpenSUSE documentation is one of the best in the Linux world. Everything, whatever you think, it will be available in the OpenSUSE wiki, so you can read it thoroughly. I recommended you read everything thoroughly. The release notes, the startup guides, the desktop guides are there, reference guides, security, everything is there. It is very fantastically written. And this auto YAST, so YAST is one of the greatest tools they have made. You can go through this, and this guides, release notes are available in multiple formats like HTML, single HTML, PDF, EPUB. So based on your preferences, you can download any one of them and you can just read, but do read it. And they are available for each of the versions. For example, OpenSUSE lib 15.4, then there are some documentation for 15.3 also, like that. So you read it, it is fantastic, and you will enjoy reading the wikis and this release note and startup guides. They are fantastically written, one of the best in the Linux world. Then when you click on the get software, so here you can search for any of the packages. So you keep this as in your favorites, this web page. So it contains the package search for all the distributions. So you can see here, these are the different distributions in the SUSE family. Even if you want, you can search for the packages from other Linux distros like Debian, Fedora, because they all these systems use the open build service for building their packages on OpenSUSE platforms. So the open build service of OpenSUSE is used by the other Linux distros like Ubuntu, Magia is there, Fedora is there, Debian is there, and many other. Even Arch also uses the open build service of OpenSUSE. You can see everything is there, even the backports. So this backports repository is great for the latest software. So I will not go now in much further details. Let us go ahead, and there is the specific Plasma help. So for if you want to have help for the KDE Plasma desktop of OpenSUSE, you have to click here. It will, I think, also open the, no, it is help center is inbuilt in the desktop, so it will open the help center, and then you can click on the relevant links and search for the help you require, search for the subject on which you require the help. So this is also very great documentation on part of KDE organization. So you can read, go through this. Then this is the contribute link. So if you want to contribute in the development of OpenSUSE, you can be part of the OpenSUSE community. You can create your profile on the OpenSUSE community and start contributing to the OpenSUSE in whatever capacity you are capable of. Then this is the open build service. So there is a link to the open build service, OBS. So here the packages are built and maintained. So you can go through this. I will not go at the, otherwise the video will become very long, but you can always check this out. The links are there. Now close this down, and if you click on this tick button, it will not show up on the next tab. If you keep this clicked, it will show up on the next tab. So every startup, this welcome screen will open. So I will keep that because I like this. Now before we go, let us check out what is the update. There is some update is available. So let us click on the update. So there is some update for GVFS. Okay, I will not do it. Not that much required right now. This is just a review. Okay. So what is this? So this is the the help center. I will close this. Now the KDE desktop contains the panel at the bottom. So here the application menu is there. Then there is the workspace manager. Then this is the system settings. The Discord software center is there. The Dolphin file manager is there. The Firefox is there. This is the updater or the update manager. Then you have got the volume control. So volume control is detailed volume control is available on the panel. You can configure the audio of the devices and the applications using the audio sound card or the audio. Then there is this network manager. Then in the status and notifications area, you can check out the notification, configure notification, do your work in the clipboard, the night color control, the power management, disk and devices management, and the lock key status. Then there is the day, date, time, and at the last in the corner, rightmost corner, you have got the show desktop button. Now how we will go? Okay, so in the favorite section you got this Firefox, contact, LibreOffice Writer, Dolphin, console, help, system settings, and the Kate is the text editor. So these are the most normally most used applications, so they are by default kept in the favorite section. Then this is the all applications. Then there is games, so the Mahjong, K-Mines, Patience, River Chain, Sudoku are included. You can remove them also. In the graphics section, you have the Gven View, LibreOffice Draw, Ocular. Ocular is a document viewer, and the Scanlight. So it is a light scanning application for your printer and scanner. This is the internet section. You got the aggregator. It is the RSS feed reader. Firefox is there. Kmail conversation is there. It is a IRC client. Kmail email client. Then you got the KTNF, that is the TNEF format file viewer. PIM data exporter. Sieve editor is there. Sieve editor for the email filters. So it is helps to filter the spam. Tiger VNC viewer is there. In the multimedia, you got the VLC media player. In the office, you got the K address book, Kmail, contact, K organizer, KTNF. Then you got the full LibreOffice suite, Ocular, Sieve editor. So those are repeated here. In the settings, you got system settings, Wacom tablet finder, and the YAST. So YAST is the administration tool. So we will check this out in short. In system, you got all the system utilities like Arc. So it is a archive manager. Discover is the software center. Dolphin file manager in the super user mode. So you got the two modes. If you click on here home, the file manager will open, or you can click here, the file manager will open, but it will be in the normal user mode. And if you want to do certain administrative work as a user, then you have to use this link to open it in super user mode. Then there is the info center. So let us click on the info center here. So you can see the KDE Plasma version is 5.24.4, quite latest. KDE Frameworks version is 5.90, Qt version is 5.15.2, kernel version is 5.14.21, graphics platform is X11, and the hardware, this is my system configuration, hardware configuration. So this is it. This is the software versions installed for the KDE Plasma. Now the system monitor. So you can see by default installation, that is the fresh installation. the KDE plasma desktop of OpenSUSE Leap 15.4 is using around 1.5 to 1.6 GB of memory, and 8.8 GB of hard disk has been used up by the installation. And CPU usage, you can see it is hovering between 2 to around 10% or 11%, and once or while there was a spike of 21%. Other than that, it is quite stable, and it works very well on my tablet. My tablet is Lenovo Mix 320. It has got just 2 GB of RAM and 32 GB of the ROM. I got a separate SD card for storing my files. So out of the 28 GB available ROM out of the 32, the KDE Plasma desktop uses 9 GB, you can say, and the rest is available for the root file system. But still everything works properly, and I can get productivity of around 3 to 4 hours every day from the tablet, because I use the tablet for my sales work. Earlier I used to work in the sales profile for at least 4 or 5 years. So during that time I used to use that tablet for my official work. So I used to carry it around. It was very light, but I use the KDE desktop, Plasma desktop, OpenSUSE and Kubuntu, everything. Both these desktops work very fine. Okay, now I will close this. Now there is console is there. K wallet manager is there. It is the wallet manager for managing your uh, virtual cards. Then the system monitor is there. So if you click on the system monitor, of course it will open again. So now you can see one window is closed. The memory usage has dropped to 1.4 GB. So earlier there were two windows open. That time it was showing 1.6 GB. Okay, so then there is terminal in the super user mode. Then this is the welcome utility we have seen. Xterm is the standard terminal emulator. Yast is there, and the Yast software is there. So let us open the Yast first, and then we will go over to the Yast software. So you have to input your sudo password. So this is one of the most fantastic administration application. So it is a collection of administrator applications for administering your OpenSUSE Leap installation. So here you can see, if you click on install or remove add products, so this will load the package manager, and you can add or remove the repositories from here. I will show you. Just let it open. Okay, so if you want to add any repositories, you can add it. So you have to just specify a URL. For example, let us try to install some community repositories. So click on this. It will show you the community repositories. So this, the Pacman repository is the repository for the third party or the non-free codecs. You can install this. Then there is the NVIDIA graphics card drivers. So NVIDIA graphics card drivers are not included. Proprietary NVIDIA graphics drivers are not included by default. Only the Novue drivers will be present. But if you want to have the proprietary drivers, you have to include this NVIDIA graphics card drivers repository. Then there is a repository for the untested updates, and there is the lib DVD CSS repositories. So I don't know, I have never used this library DVD CSS, but I have used this too. So you can take advantage of that. And there is another method to install the non-free third-party codecs. I will show you. That is from the terminal. If you want to do it from this package manager, you have to just click on here. Then you have to say OK, close this, and then run the update. So you can run the system update from the terminal, and the repository packages will be downloaded from the Pacman or the NVIDIA graphics card drivers repository, and those will be automatically installed. So it is very easy for the users. So I will now close this. You have got the idea what to do, how to use this to add the products or the repositories. Products means here repositories. So repositories contains those products. So you can install the repositories that will in turn install the products you want. And then this is the media check. So it will verify the media integrity. So you can add this DVD or CD drive in your CD or DVD drive, and it will detect that and it will check the ISO file for the checksum. And then you can eject that DVD or CD from here. Now this is the online update. Then there is the online update configuration, software manager, and the software repository. So first what I will do is, let us go to the software repositories. I want to show you this first, then we will come to the software, then we will come to this software management. Okay, so you can see here there are host of different repositories are there. I will enlarge this. So each has got 99 number priority. So 99 is the default priority. So here you can see there is a debug repository non-OSS. OSS means the free software, what we can say, free software, that those are not licensed or restricted by any licenses, and they are freely available for use and share with others. Then this is the main repo. Then there is the main update repo, non-OSS repository, source repository. So this is the non-free repository, update repository debug, update repository debug non-OSS. Then there is this backports repository for the Opensuse, update repository with debug for updates from the SUSE Linux Enterprise 15 from the Opensuse backports, update repository with updates from Linux Enterprise 15, and the Opensuse lib 15.4.1. So this is the ISO that we had used to install the system or the virtual machine. So it is, after the installation, it is all automatically disabled. So here you can see both the main repository will contain the Opensuse lib 15.4 packages. Then you have got the packages from the Opensuse backports. Then you have packages from the SUSE Linux Enterprise 15. Then you have got this non-free software repository. So the main repository, non-free repository, then there is the backports repository, and there is one repository from the SUSE Linux Enterprise 15. So, and you can enable and disable all these packages, repositories and packages from this. So you have to tick this, select the repository you want to enable or disable, and then you have to tick or untick this enabled sign, and then it will disable or enable that repository or the packages. And there is option to keep the downloaded packages. So once the installation is complete, still the downloaded packages will remain in the cache. Then you can check out the JPG keys that are downloaded for each of the repository from here, and you can add and delete those. So you can manually add the JPG keys, update the JPG keys manually, or you can delete the JPG keys and install the new keys from here. So that is this functionality. And you can view all services or you can view all repositories. So there are no services right here right now, only the repositories are shown. Okay, so now I will close this. Now let us go back to the software management. So YAST software management is functionality is similar to the Synaptic package manager functionality. So here it shows the installation summary. So there is a symbol for each. So like delete, install, update, auto delete, auto install, auto update, taboo, protected, keep, and there is this pattern. So each desktop is available as a pattern in Opensuse. So right now the KDE Plasma, I will just enlarge this window. So right now the KDE Plasma Fire desktop base and the KDE applications and the Plasma Fire desktop is installed. I will show you how to uninstall and install different desktops using this. That is the patterns of the YAST software manager. So these are the desktops available: LXD, Cinnamon, XFC, LXQT, Sway, Windows Manager, Enlightenment, Mate desktop, Deepin desktop is also available, Budgie desktop is there, X Windows system, very basic desktop that is previously part of the X11 experience. Then there are some packages for the multimedia, office software, graphics. So if you click on this, you will show you the different softwares that are installed for the multimedia office software. And if you just click it here on the KDE Fire Plasma desktop, so the green tick shows the software that is installed on this system. the software below is not installed, but you can just click it here like this, and then it will show the plus sign, and when you accept this, it will install that package. So it is very easy. Like, if you don't want to install it, you have to remove that plus sign tick and it will not install. Then there is some extra software like the KDE PIM suite for the KDE desktop. There are applets for the budget desktop environment here, containers, primary functions. So this is the packages for file server, network administrator. So these are the different server profiles that you can install. So server profiles, or you can say server functionality that you can install. So when you install the OpenSUSE server, it will just install the basic server, and then you can add on the functionality from here for your server. Then there is this proprietary packages. So you can see here the Adobe ICC profiles, Atmel firmware, IPW firmware, Monkeyplex UC, Opera, Patterns non-OSS. So OSS is the open source license packages. So here you can see packages that are proprietary are not under the open source license. Patterns non-OSS optional. So these are some optional packages. Popular Data Andhra is this program to extract, test, and view RAR archives. Then there is the Opera proprietary web browser. So these are the development packages for the base development, GNOME development, KDE frameworks, Plasma development, .NET, C++, RPM build environment, Java development, Linux kernel development. So a lot of different developments are available. Now this is the base technology, the minimal base system, enhanced base system, Zen virtualization, KVM virtualization, App Armor, console tools, 32-bit environment. So if you want to run some 32-bit programs, you have to install this 32-bit runtime environment. It is not enabled by default in OpenSUSE, just like Debian. So you have to click on this, install this 32-bit run environment packages, and then only you can run the 32-bit packages or the 32-bit applications. Otherwise you will not able to run the 32-bit environment applications. So this is just like Debian. Then there are some mobile applications. So here you can see mobile means laptop only, not the mobile, because KDE Plasma is there, but it is limited you can see compatible with few phones, few of the Linux phones, but most of the phones are still not compatible. They are working on that, and maybe in down the line, say in 4 or 5 years, we can have many mobiles that can work with Linux. So you can flash the KDE Plasma desktop on your mobile, that is your handheld device. Right now it is mobile means only the laptop or the any computing device that you can carry in your bag. So it is still not meant for the mobiles. It is only for the laptops or the netbooks. Okay. Then there is YAST based utilities. So you can see most of them are installed. YAST desktop utilities, YAST server, YAST user interface, software management. So it is very great package choice and availability in the OpenSUSE. Now here in the menu you can import. For example, let us click on import. What happens, we will see. Okay, so you can import the packages from your local drive. So if you keep some packages in the local drive, you can import those packages and it will be added to this software manager. You can export the software packages from here also. These are the configuration for the repositories and online update. These are the dependencies. Whenever you uninstall or install any software, the dependencies will be auto checked, and also system will, or the software management, the software manager will recommend you to install some packages. So those are called the recommended packages. Then there are options to show the development packages, show debug info. So whenever you do any search, it will also show the development packages. For example, if you install the XFCE desktop and if you keep this ticked on, it will show some development packages for installation also along with the regular stable packages. Then there is a system verification mode. You can clean up when deleting the packages. So suppose if you delete any packages from your system using this, then those packages will be deleted, and it will help to keep your system clean. And you can click on this. So whenever you install the packages, it will suggest you packages from the different vendors, and you can do a vendor change also. So for some packages there is some default vendor, like for example some multimedia packages will have the Opensuse as the default vendor, and then you can change it over to the Pacman. So you can change the vendor from Opensuse to Pacman, and then every time once you select the Pacman as the vendor, default vendor, only the multimedia package update from Pacman will be installed, and the Opensuse multimedia packages won't be offered for installation whenever the new updates are there. So this is how it works. In the extras, you have got the show product, show package changes, show history of the packages. So different things are there. Generate dependency resolver test case. So this is all advanced, but lot of functionality is available in this software manager or the software management. So now I will close this, and this is the online update. So if you want to do an online update, so what it does is it directly goes and fetches the updates from the repositories. So right now it is searching for the updates. It will show you the updates. It is doing for the first time, that's why it is taking some time. So only there is one update is there. You can see here recommended update for GVFS. So it contains totally 6 packages are there. So if you want, we can install or we can cancel and keep the update in pending. Then this is the online update configuration. So what happens is, in this, when you select this, the system will automatically go online based on the interval that you are selected. You can go for daily, monthly or weekly. Skip interactive packages, agree with licenses. So you can automatically agree with licenses, include recommended packages, use delta RPMs, and then you can automatically update the system without the human intervention. So I will not do it, but it is available. So this is one of the advanced features and very useful feature of Opensuse. So now in the hardware, you can set up your keyboard layout from here. You can set up your printer, scanner, sound. You can configure your sound. This configuration of sound card is available from here. So right now it is not shown, but the sound card will be shown here, and you can configure the sound card. You can configure the sound card profile from here. Right now it is a virtual machine, so it will not show. Now this is the bootloader. So here you can configure the bootloader. So this is one of the fantastic application for administration from Opensuse. It is part of the YAS. So you can change the bootloader from grub 2 to grub 2 for EFI. You can make it non-managed. You can write the partition to the partition you wish. You can configure the boot code location. You can set flags for the partition table for boot partition, write generic boot code for MBR, protective MBR flag, edit the disk boot order also. You can see here, you can edit the disk boot order also from here. You can specify the kernel parameters, whether you want the splash screen, silent splash screen, or you want some verbose on the screen while booting. CPU mitigations, if you want to allow the auto CPU mitigation. CPU mitigations are nothing but the patches that are applied to the CPU exploit. So suppose some CPU exploit has been identified, the CPU vendor will release a patch, and that is called a CPU mitigation. So if you want, you can enable or you can disable the CPU patch, so the CPU patch won't be applied. That microcode of the CPU mitigation or the CPU patch won't be applied to your CPU. So that you can configure it from here. You can also have whether to have the graphical console or not, and what is the console theme of the bootloader. So you may not have a graphical console for the your bootloader. So all this you can do it here, configuration, and the bootloader options are there. These are the bootloader option. You can check out, you can configure the timeout in seconds. You can click on or off. You can set on or off the OS prober. So if you untick this, the OS prober will not try to detect the other OS that is available in one of the partitions of your hard disk. For example, the Windows is there on one of the partitions of your OpenSUSE machine, then it will not check it every time the booting is done. Then you can set the default boot section. So here you can see you can go in the recovery mode from here. So by default you can go in recovery mode, you can go in only certain Linux kernel only. So suppose you got multiple kernels, then you can specify which kernel is the default kernel. So it will system will try to boot in that kernel every time it is restarted. So like this the functionality is for the bootloader. So very you can say very advanced features that are normally available through the terminal are given as a GUI based application or the GUI based apps in the YAST system administration. So this is one of the fantastic applications available in the Linux world. Now this is the date and time. You can control the date and time from here. This YAST makes the OpenSUSE unique in the Linux world. So it is just very unique set of applications for administrating your system. It is not available in any other Linux distro. There are some applications available not like this. This is an extensive host of applications to administer your system. So here you can set your languages. You can I think import also the languages. Everything you can do it from here. Then this is the networks manager. Okay, so currently the network is handled by the network manager and not YAST. Okay, so you can take a overview, hostname, DNS, everything you can do it from here. Yes, this is the KDE partitioner. Edit your partitions from here. This is the services manager. So this is the graphical interface. So here you can configure your services, administer your services from here. It is reading the service status. It is doing it for the first time. It will take some more time. So here these different services that are running. So there is different modes: on boot, manually, start, stop, show the details. Suppose I click on any service, it will show the details for the service. So the vendor presets, the different services that are loaded, the active status or inactive status of the service, everything can be shown in detail. You can show the log for the services also. So that's it. Now this is the system config editor. So this is same I think like the deconf editor I think. So you can edit the system configurations for your desktop, hardware, everything. So you can see here. You can this is the sans family is the this font family. So you can edit the font families from here. You can configure the LCD filters, post black and white, auto hinting, hint style, verbosity. You can configure your display manager, window manager, hardware, network, others. In others you have got the etc, that is your configuration, system configuration in the etc. Clock, cron is your scheduler, firewall D, network, system log. In the system itself you got this backup, so you can configure the backup from here, the bootloader, cron, environment, file system, kernel, file cycle, login, snmp, security, everything you can do it from here. Fantastic applications for system administration. Below there are some host name, so you can configure the host names. You can do the NTP configuration, proxy, remote administration, Samba server. You can configure a Samba server from here. Windows domain membership, so you can add your computer to a Windows domain using this configuration tool. Then you got the app armor, firewall D, security center, and the user group administration in the security and user section. So this is the security center. I will not show you everything because it will be a very big video, but lot of things are available here. So here you can see you can configure everything. You can configure the services. You can start enable, disable the services from here. Password settings, boot setting, login, user addition, miscellaneous settings, everything you can do it from here. You can install hypervisor and tools from here, relocation, server configuration, user and group management. Okay, that is done. Now virtualization also done. In support, you have to you can read the release notes from here. In miscellaneous, you can display the systems logs from here. So everything is possible here. This is the alternatives. So manage update alternative switching. So this is the GTK update, icon cache, default accession, desktop, default display manager. So right now the default display manager is auto, I think, but you can edit it and you can make the SDDM as default, or you can do the XDM as default, or you can go for the console default. So if you go on console default, the system will be headless and you will be booted into a TTY or the terminal. This is the system journal. So here you can see the system messages and diagnose your system for any faults. Now this is the vendor driver. You can install a driver from any of the vendors. So you have to insert the vendor CD-ROM and then you can install the vendor driver. For example, if your laptop requires certain drivers, then you can install the driver CD and then you can use this vendor driver to install the specific driver for your laptop. This is the hardware section. Then this is the system section, network services, security. We have seen everything. So that's it. This is one of the most fantastic tools available. Okay, so we have completed the YAST, I think. I will just check up once. Okay, we have done that. Everything is done. Now we proceed to YAST software. I think also we have done. Let me check once, because nothing should be left pending. Yes, we have done this also. So now let us go to the system settings. Okay, I will close this. So system settings is nothing but the KDE system settings. So we have seen the Opensuse settings, that was the YAST. So YAST is a complete suite of applications to administer your system, and the system settings is the KDE system settings. So for your desktop you have to use this. For your complete system you have to go over to the YAST. So very extensive and granular support, we can say, settings is available in Opensuse. This is not comparable to any other system. This is one of the best, we can say, user control is available in Opensuse. So this is the typical KDE desktop system settings. I will not go into detail, you know everything. Everything is given here. And let us check out the about system. So we have checked this also. So there is nothing to see. It is a typical KDE desktop settings. I will not go in details. What we can do is we can just go in the appearance section. So we can check out if any wallpapers are there. Normally the KDE desktop doesn't have many wallpapers. Only 4 themes are there. That is this Opensuse theme, Breeze Twilight theme, Breeze Dark theme, and the Breeze theme. Then the plasma styles are there. So the Air, Opensuse, Breeze, Breeze Dark, Breeze Light, Opensuse. Right now this is the default one. Then there is Opensuse Dark, Opensuse Light, and the Oxygen theme is there. Oxygen themes used to be my favorite way back in 2004. So those time the Oxygen theme was very popular. Then there are some colors. So you can choose the window colors. So Breeze Classic is right now the default. You can go with Breeze Dark, Light, Breeze Light, Opensuse Dark, and the Opensuse Alternate. So we can just click it here. It will apply. It will get applied. So you can see the color accent has changed to green. So it is a good one. And then I will go back again to the plasma style. Okay, so this is okay, or we can go with dark or Opensuse Light. Okay, this will be okay, I think. Okay, and then there is the font selection. So the Noto Sans family is the default font family used here. icons, let us check out the icons. So the Breeze icons are the default right now, but you can go with Advaita, Breeze Dark. You can install some more. Then there is font management, the splash screen is there. So right now the this Opensuse splash screen is the default one, and Breeze and none is there. So you can install some more splash screens of your choice. Window decorations, only two are there, that is Breeze and Plastic, but you can install some more window decorations from here. So Classy is there, XN is there, so quite a number of different window decorations are available. Then this title bar buttons, this is what is available in the Breeze theme of window decorations. Okay, so I think you have completed everything, and if you want we can check out the wallpaper. So right click. Okay, so this is the Opensuse default wallpaper. Then there is another one, but I think it looks similar only. There is no much change here. Let us check out what happens. So it is same one, there is no change. Okay, and the Honeywave is there. You can install more wallpapers from here. Different wallpapers are there. So this is it. So friends, with this I think we have covered the important features and the facets of Opensuse KDE desktop. It is most, you can say, stable and dependable system. I use this KDE desktop, the Leap version, for many years, and I can vouch for the stability. So I will stop the video here. In the next video we will try to install another desktop of Opensuse. So friends, I will stop the video here. In the next video we will try to install another desktop of Opensuse and then check it out in the second video from this video. See you then. Bye.